Jesus came into the world that we might have life and have it in abundance, and this was His great yes to all of us. Dear brothers and sisters in Christ, let us reflect together on today's first reading, which has some very interesting and inspiring words for us today. St. Paul, in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 1, verse 19 to 20, says, "The Son of God, Jesus Christ, whom we preached among you, was not yes and no, but in Him it is always yes. For the promises of God find their yes in Him." What could these words mean? To put it very simply, to say that there is no yes and no in Christ means that there is no wavering in Christ. Jesus, in perfect obedience to His Father, came into the world for the salvation of humanity. This was His great yes to the Father. Jesus came into the world that we might have life and have it in abundance, and this was His great yes to all of us. Even though in His human nature He had to face temptations and doubts, Christ never withdrew from His yes. In a similar way, Paul tells his readers that the gospel is not yes or no. It is not something that wavers or fluctuates. The gospel, the good news of our salvation, is indeed something reliable and steadfast. We can have complete faith and hope in the message of the gospel. Following the example of Christ, we are also called to live our lives in conformity with the gospel of Christ, to remain faithful without wavering. Unlike the many pseudo-motivational messages that we often come across today, the gospel challenges us to faithfulness and constancy in our discipleship. For example, a person who sees a motivational video on fitness might be inspired to go to the gym for a few days, but the real test of his dedication comes in persevering in that commitment. Today we are surrounded by so many influences and influencers who try to sway us towards their lifestyles, products, activities, and so on, whether they be positive or negative. Ultimately, all these things are of passing importance. The gospel challenges us to make the greatest commitment of our lives and demands our complete faithfulness. How do we respond to God's call? In Christ, it is always yes does not mean that God will give us whatever we want or allow us to do as we please. It means that God's ways are always for our greater good, for our sanctification and salvation. Let us take the example of our Blessed Mother. Her yes or her fiat at the Annunciation was not something momentary, but a yes that persisted without wavering even to the foot of the cross. Let us seek her intercession that we may remain faithful to Jesus and the invitation of His gospel.